wishes, everything, Christmas, birthdays, everything has come true in your whole life. It feels like your whole life that you've been working towards, wishing for, is suddenly there. But at the same time, you're like, this is super precious. Like,
yeah.
it could just slip through my fingers.
I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show.
Thanks for joining us on the Recovery Project with myself and Mel Abbott. And we've had some amazing stories this year, and from double pneumonia to cancer to chronic fatigue syndrome, which we both have had for 12 or 13 years. And they've just been amazing to hear the stories, and behind every story is a story of each individual, which has just been compelling and so rewarding to hear. And today we've got another guest, which Mel is going to introduce to us today.
Yes, welcome Nadine. Great to have you here. Now Nadine, I understand, did have quite a challenging journey with fertility and a fantastic result in the end. So we're very interested to welcome you on our show, Nadine.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about how did it feel, and how bad was it, and how long was it that you were struggling with fertility?
Well, the whole journey was over 3 years. It wasn't a terrible journey for the first, I'd say, probably 2.5 years. We just sort of thought, oh, well, if we can get pregnant, then that would be lovely. It'd be a great time. And then sort of towards the 3-year mark, we started going, this isn't really so nice anymore. Like, what's going on? And then we started looking into it a bit more seriously. And, things got more and more heartbreaking, I would say. We had a lot going on. We came back from overseas. I had a lot of stress at work. And then I started doing part-time study as well as full-time work, which full-time work was more than full-time. Probably 2.5 years. And so then another half a year, maybe slightly longer, where we started saying, okay, we've got to look into this a bit more seriously. What are the things that we can do? Where do we want to go? How far do we want to take it?
And what sort of answers?
Yeah.
What sort of answers were coming to you in those discussions?
That we were going to stay natural. Especially, I came down to the fact that I wasn't going to go down the track of IVF. That was just didn't feel right for me. And if it wasn't meant to be, then it wasn't meant to be. Excuse me.
It clearly was meant to be. And here is the result of this adventure. Hello.
He's one.
Oh,
so cute. So, so you've looked into natural. So when you say natural, holistic look, what does that look like?
Well, for me, it was everything from, stress in your life to foods that you were eating. Big thing was work-life balance. I guess substance, minerals, any sort of additional supplements. Actually getting in touch with a natural fertility specialist, looking at reflexology, Reiki, all sorts of different physical, spiritual, mental, all that sort of well-being, not just the physical.
That's awesome, because it's really holistic. You're covering so many different areas with that.
Yeah.
And do you have a sense, obviously it was successful, but do you have a sense of what you think created the biggest changes for you?
The biggest one is hard to say, because I personally think they all played in together, and it didn't, I can't say that any one of the things that I changed afterwards, I went, yep, that was it. And that was the one and only thing that did it. I don't think for me that was it. It was definitely a more holistic approach that all played in together and had a wonderful outcome in the end.
Yeah, I reckon. So can you share with us, some of you said diet and supplements. What sort of changes did you make in those areas?
Well, I was already eating mostly organic. I'm a vegetarian. At the time, I was vegan. potential that was missing, like folic acid.
Yeah.
I was taking magnesium. I did have a miscarriage that was very early on, and so I hadn't been taking some of the supplements. So that's when I really started to like not just take it every now and again. I actually started taking it sort of daily or whatever they recommend.
And was that sort of the first time that you had got pregnant after trying for those couple of years to then have the miscarriage?
Yeah.
And so how did that feel to have got that much closer and then not again?
Well, it was, I must admit, it was I didn't know I was pregnant. So I was tracking my body temperature and just looking at it, at my natural fertility, recognizing my own signs to see when the good time to do the baby dance was.
Yeah.
And it all sort of went funny, and my period seemed to come a little bit early. And so then I got in touch with this natural fertility specialist, and she looked into it and she was like, actually, I'm sorry to say that was an early pregnancy. So it wasn't like I was far in and I was aware of it.
Yeah.
But looking back, I was absolutely gutted, because suddenly I was like, this could actually maybe work. Maybe I have a chance. Maybe we do have the gift of having children. But on the other hand, it did give me the motivation to say, maybe there's hope. Maybe we don't.
Because it does feel a step closer than not getting pregnant, doesn't it? Some body talk sessions along.
Yes, I did some body talk sessions with Angelica. I actually am not sure if it was just body talk or if it was Reiki or what it was.
Yeah.
But we talked about the journey and what I wished for and what I hoped for and what we had done, and if there had been any medical intervention or questions or things around that. Then we went into the more physical side, which is really where I can't quite remember, because to be honest, I think I might have laid down and I might have fallen asleep.
Perfect.
It was just a very calming, safe environment. We did, what I do very much remember is really talking out loud with her and making big body movements of like just, I guess, manifesting that I was open and ready to receive this child, and to prepare my body and to spiritually ask this child to please come if it would. That was really powerful for me. That was really
I can hear the emotion right there. That sounds like it was a really beautiful kind of connecting to your baby experience.
For me it was almost like it was sort of a marrying. It was I guess somewhat of a guided meditation, but it was a marrying of the spiritual and the physical, and really opening yourself up and saying, here I am, take it or leave it.
Wow. What sort of emotions at that time? This is really, I'm so thankful for you to open up in this way, Nadine, but what were those emotions that were flowing at that particular time that was, I guess, the law of attraction or manifestation?
I think for me it was a real conscious opening and asking the spiritual world, I guess, to say, look, here I am. I'm doing what I can. If you want to come, here I am. Tell me if there's something else I need to do. We're in this together. I can't promise you that I'm perfect, because I'm far from it. I'll do my best.
Oh, wow.
We'll go on this journey together. Let's try it if you want to.
It sounds like there was a lot of surrender in that you're saying, this is what I would like, but it's up to you. It wasn't with that kind of sort of the desperation of please, which often comes from when we really want something, to be able to surrender. Well, this is my request, but
I think that's really what it was. It was I can't force this. It's out of my hands. Like, I can only try. I can only do certain things to make this possible. I badly want it. I would die to have this. Yeah. But I can't guarantee it, and there's only so much that I can do. So it's up to the powers to manifest.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
gold.
that's so inspiring. I remember when I had my chronic fatigue journey for 11 years, I reached a similar place of surrender with it, where it's like, well, I want to get well, but universe, there must be a plan for why I'm sick for so long. I trust you to guide me on whatever path I'm meant to be on, and hopefully that's a path to getting well, but your call. And yeah, and that surrender, I mean, it took me years to reach a point of surrender to it.
That's right.
Wow.
But then I was able to find my way out of it. So hearing you talk in that way is really interesting. A beautiful surrender, it sounds like, emotional and strong, but really beautiful.
Yeah, it was. That's such good. It's such a good nut. That's so awesome. I'm just, this is great.
Yeah.
It really is, because it's so important. This is so important to understand that.
Did you also feel there were some emotional blocks that you discovered that were in the way of pregnancy, or do you think it was more just that your lifestyle was so busy and so charged up that your body wasn't resourced for it?
I'd like to say it was more the my lifestyle and my body was just so supercharged.
Right.
I'd like to say that I was emotionally more ready. I can't say for sure that there were like pings or any sort of blockages that I felt release. That's not to say that there weren't.
So how soon after that session did you get pregnant?
Oh, like 6 weeks.
Oh, wow, cool.
Probably, yeah. It was
Wow.
really cool.
I'm really curious, Nadine, because you know how I guess our lives are so different now. You know, we're wearing so many hats. Life is quite the hamster wheel situation, right? It really is, isn't it? I'm sure you're experiencing it now. But what did it feel like living that life and then having that time where you were just on your own, falling asleep, having that time where you were grounded?
Like, how could I describe it? It was like a complete reset, I guess. It was just time out. Like, this is important. Put your money where your mouth is. Like, don't just talk about it, like actually do it.
So take us forward then to you've got pregnant, you've found out you're pregnant 6 weeks later. What was that like?
Ridiculously amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you take the pregnancy test and you wait and you're thinking like, oh please, you're praying or you're like letting everything, like putting everything into this little test, which I found now is like COVID test. and then it's this little thing that tells you you're pregnant, and suddenly you're just like, all your wishes, everything, Christmas, birthdays, everything has come true in your whole life. It feels like your whole life that you've been working towards, wishing for, is suddenly there. But at the same time, you're like, this is super precious. Like,
yeah.
it just slipped through my fingers. Like, I haven't got it, but I've kind of got it. And what am I now going to do? Like,
yeah,
it's this real balance of, like, I can feel it and we're almost there, but we're not quite.
Yeah. And I guess over the months of the pregnancy, that feeling of I've nearly got it gets stronger as the fears of a miscarriage get smaller. Did you reach a point where you felt like I'm definitely going to get there, or was that only when you had the baby in your arms?
There's always that little niggle in the background that it's not until they're here that they're here. But as the pregnancy progresses, like, I was super, super sick to start with. And so I was, all I was thinking was, I hope this is good news. I hope this means it'll come through. I hope we'll get there. And obviously the longer, as the due date is like only a few months away, you start thinking, okay, I could start preparing for this birth. Like, this is maybe actually, like, we could get things ready. Like, this is actually looking like it's going to happen. Yeah, but it's definitely like I got really excited. And, they say not to tell anyone in the first 12 weeks. I was like, nah, man.
I'd be the
this
same.
is good.
I reckon, because the thing is, if I miscarried, I'd be telling my friends anyway. So why not get to share the joy first rather than just wait till I go, oh, by the way, I miscarried and then know I was pregnant.
Exactly. And the anguish and the heartache that comes with that. And it's not something that many people talk about. Like, it's very common to have a miscarriage. And because we don't talk about it, people think, oh, you just go and have sex and then you have a baby. No.
It's, here's something like, a third to a half of pregnancies miscarry. It's a huge number. And so when people are all in the silence phase, and then, oh, well, I didn't tell anyone, so I guess I better not tell them that I miscarried either, they're very alone with their grief.
Very alone. And, if you have friends where you can say, well, I'm pregnant, but, it's early days, who knows? And then you miscarry, like, you can share with them and you can lean on them and, you're not alone. And it's a real heartache. It's not something that I wouldn't want to just lock up in my room and just say, look, I'm going through, like, world, go away. I mean, everyone deals with grief differently, but it is grief.
Yeah, totally.
Such a good lesson.
Did you feel the sort of soul energy of your child, like, sense him before he came to you?
Definitely. Yeah. There's no doubt.
At what stage would you have known who he was and felt his energy?
Well, I felt energy, I guess. Like, it was I felt almost like he didn't want to be seen, like, before he was born. Like, it wasn't like I could like, there wasn't anything fixed. It was more of an energy. Or relatively early on, to be honest, probably a few months after you get to that stage where they say, 12-week mark, you're likely to keep the pregnancy. Probably not maybe a month or two after that, maybe.
Then you could really connect with him and feel him. And
I guess when you can start feeling them, like, that's amazing. That is just mind-blowing.
Nice. So tell us about the moment where you held your baby in your arms for the first time.
It's interesting. I am an early childhood teacher, and I've all the children that have come into my care, I've always spoken to their parents about the journey before they come into the care, and I've always asked about the birth to really and their pregnancies to see where they've come from. And I remember one mother saying, when I held my child for the first time, you expect this burst of emotions and this huge overwhelm of love, and she said, I didn't have it. And so I had that in the back of my mind when I had Ollie, just to see how it would be, with no expectations and nothing. And I had the most amazing birth, honestly. It was
wow.
On all levels, absolutely amazing. And so to have this, like, it was beautiful and natural and warm and intense and safe, and it was meant to be. And so when I finally actually got to hold Ollie, it was just this moment of frozen time, I think it is. It wasn't this major emotional overwhelm, but it was this just frozen time of just this absolute awe. I think that's all it was, just awe of, this is it. Here we are.
Wow. I've got prickly eyes.
Yeah. Wow. That, oh my goodness. Wow. Most
So
precious
beautiful.
thing we could ever, most precious thing we could ever give, right?
Yeah. And then the journey together starts. Then the real time together starts. Now I've got the responsibility of not screwing it up. Like, don't damage this.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So a final question to you, to women out there who are struggling with getting pregnant as they watch your interview, what would you say to those women?
Love. Accept. Try and find peace. We don't know. Sometimes it's meant to be, sometimes it's not. Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't.
It's just
We don't know. We don't. It's a journey. It's not the destination. It's a journey. Be kind to yourself.
Sounds like slow down was an important part.
Yes, slow down.
slow down.
Slow down. Free. Try and connect that physical to the spiritual, the mental. Like we're a human being. We're not just a physical body. We're not just medicine. We are way more than that.
Well, I feel so uplifted hearing your story today. I love your vibe, the way you share the story and the emotions you've shared with us. And I can feel that peace in the journey. It's like it's a beautiful spiritual journey that you've gone through. And I've loved hearing about it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today.
Thanks, Nadine, for sharing. From my perspective, I think it's just been brilliant to honour. I think we've got a gift that you've delivered, and it's our right to give them so much love now to prepare that person in the way that we deservedly should as parents. So thank you for, one, telling your story, and two, understanding how precious our little kids are. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for giving me the time and the opportunity. I hope it helps anyone at all.
Yeah. Absolutely. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us as well. And let us know if you know someone who should be on our recovery project. And share and like this channel so that more people will find it and be supported and inspired.